I found out the real reason my girlfriend was with me, so I ended it first. I realized something was wrong the moment I saw her smiling at her phone while I was still sitting in the barber's chair. Not a casual smile, one of those private, amused ones that makes your stomach tighten for no clear reason. I told myself I was overthinking it. I usually do. I'd only been dating Mia since August. It felt like a win at first, like the universe finally answered me after months of quietly wishing for someone to come into my life. We were happy, or at least I thought we were. Christmas was coming up and she suggested I get a haircut for a fresh holiday look. She said she'd do some Christmas shopping while I was inside. It sounded normal, sweet even. The barbershop had a full glass window facing the mall walkway, so I could still see her outside. She was leaning against the railing, bags at her feet, phone in hand. She kept typing, pausing, smiling again. I felt that small pinch in my chest but ignored it. She's just chatting with friends, I told myself. When the haircut finished, I didn't message her. I thought I'd surprise her instead. New look, fresh confidence, something light, something happy. I walked up quietly behind her and glanced down without meaning to. That's when I saw the message. She was texting her best friend, casually explaining that she planned to end things with me after Christmas. Not because we were incompatible, not because she was unhappy, but because, in her words, my purpose was almost done. I'd paid for enough dates. I'd carried her shopping bags. I'd driven her home enough times. I felt my face go hot, then cold. My first thought wasn't anger. It was embarrassment. The kind that sinks deep and stays quiet. I stepped back before she noticed me, my heart pounding harder than it ever had during any argument. I didn't confront her. I didn't say a word. I just walked away. Around 8:30 that night, my phone started vibrating nonstop. Missed calls, messages. She was hungry, tired, annoyed. She said she checked the barbershop and I was gone. She told me to come back because she couldn't leave. She had too many shopping bags. We were at a mall far from her place, and with Christmas traffic, the trip home would take hours. I went home instead. Later, she messaged again, saying she was already outside because the mall was closing soon. That's when I finally replied. I stared at my screen for a long time before typing, my hands steady but my chest heavy. I'll break up with you first, I wrote, so I won't have to pay for dates or drive you around anymore. Ask your best friend to pick you up. Then I blocked her. I sat there in the quiet, phone face down, expecting to feel lonely. Instead, I felt clear. Disappointed, yes. Hurt, definitely. But also relieved. The year was ending, and so was something that was never real to begin with. I didn't lose a girlfriend that night. I stopped being used. I thought blocking her would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 nights later, just after 9, someone started knocking on my door. Hard. Not the polite kind. The kind that tells you whoever's outside is already angry and doesn't plan to leave quietly. My chest tightened before I even looked through the peephole. It was Mia. Her hair was tied back like she'd rushed out, eyes sharp, jaw set. The moment I opened the door, she stepped forward like she owned the space between us. "What the hell was that message?" she demanded. "You embarrassed me. You left me stranded." I stayed near the doorway, one hand still on the door. "You said you were going to break up with me anyway," I replied. My voice surprised me. It was steady. "I just didn't wait for the timing you planned." Her face changed at that, shock first, then anger. "You read my phone?" she snapped. "That's messed up." "I didn't mean to," I said, "but I saw enough." She laughed, sharp and humorless. "So what? You think you're some victim now? You could have talked to me instead of pulling that stunt." I felt something shift then, not fear, but clarity. "Talk about what? The fact that you were done with me as soon as Christmas was over?" She stepped closer, too close. Her voice dropped. "You're twisting things." I took a step back. "Please don't come any closer." That's when she lost control. Her hand shot out, not a punch, but a shove against my chest, hard enough to make me stumble back into the wall. For a split second, the room went completely silent except for my own breathing. That was the moment I knew. This is exactly why this had to end. I straightened up and held my hand out. "Stop, if you touch me again, I'm calling someone." She froze. Her eyes flicked around the room like she suddenly realized how far she'd crossed the line. Her anger didn't disappear, but it cracked. "You really think you're better than me now?" she said, quieter but still sharp. "No," I answered. "I just think I deserve better than this." There was a long pause. Then she scoffed, grabbed her bag, and turned toward the door. "This isn't over," she said. I opened the door wide. "It is for me." She left without another word. I locked the door behind her, my hands shaking now that it was done. I leaned against the door and let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. That night, I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt safe, and that told me everything I needed to know. I thought the confrontation was the worst of it. I was wrong again. It started the following weekend. My phone rang while I was making coffee, an unknown number. I ignored it. Then another call. Then someone knocked on my door. Food delivery. I told the rider I hadn't ordered anything. He looked confused, showed me the order, and apologized before leaving. I shrugged it off, thinking it was a mistake. An hour later, another knock. This time it was drinks, then fast food, then groceries, all unpaid, all under my name. By the fourth delivery, it was obvious what was happening. My phone buzzed with messages from unknown numbers, drivers asking if I was still home, asking why the order wasn't paid. I felt my jaw tighten. It wasn't just annoying, it was deliberate. That night, I counted more than a dozen fake orders. I didn't message her, I didn't react. I documented everything, screenshots, timestamps, order details. A calm kind of anger settled in, the kind that tells you not to do anything stupid. Then Facebook happened. A friend messaged me, "Hey, what's this post about you?" I opened the app and saw it. Mia had written a long post, vague but pointed. She didn't use my name, but anyone who knew us could tell. She painted herself as the victim, said she'd been used, controlled, abandoned without warning. Then she posted screenshots, cropped ones, messages taken out of context, conversations missing entire sections. People reacted fast. Sad emojis. Angry comments, friends of friends calling me out without knowing anything. Some even messaged me directly, accusing me of things that never happened. I stared at my screen longer than I should have. Part of me wanted to reply, to post everything, to defend myself line by line. But I stopped. I remembered how calm I felt the night I blocked her, and how loud her world seemed now. Instead, I made my account private. The next day, someone tagged me in another post. She'd gone further, hinting that I was manipulative, irresponsible, someone who used kindness to control people. Reading it felt surreal, like watching someone rewrite a story you lived through. But something unexpected happened. People who actually knew me reached out, quietly, privately. "This doesn't sound like you. She left out a lot. You okay?" I didn't explain much, I didn't need to. The deliveries eventually stopped. I reported the accounts. I saved everything. Her post stayed up for a while, then slowly disappeared. No apology, no closure post, just silence. And that silence told me everything. Revenge looks loud at first. Truth doesn't need to be. I went back to my routines, work, sleep, small moments of peace. The damage she tried to do didn't follow me the way she probably hoped it would. Because the people who mattered already knew who I was. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like proving anything to anyone. A few weeks passed and the noise finally started to die down. No more fake deliveries, no new posts, no random messages from strangers. Life slowly went back to normal, or at least a quieter version of it. That's when something unexpected happened. One evening, I got a message request from someone I didn't recognize. His name was Lucas. I almost ignored it, assuming it was more drama, but the first line stopped me. "Hey, I don't know you personally, but we dated the same person." My stomach dropped. He explained that he'd been with Mia before me. Different year, same pattern. At first, everything felt easy. Fun dates, constant attention. Then slowly, he became the one paying for everything. Driving everywhere. Adjusting his schedule around hers. Being useful instead of being valued. "She planned her exits," he wrote. "She just didn't expect anyone to leave first." Then he told me why he reached out. After Mia posted about me on Facebook, someone had commented, tagging Lucas, asking if he knew the guy. That's when he read the post and recognized the behavior instantly. He didn't comment right away. He waited a day, thought it through. Then he posted. Not angry, not emotional, just honest. He wrote that he'd experienced the same treatment, that he wasn't proud of how long it took him to see it, but he knew manipulation when he saw it now. He said the screenshots were selective, that there was more to the story than what Mia wanted people to believe. He ended with one line that stuck with me. "Two different men, same pattern. At some point, you have to stop blaming everyone else." The reaction was immediate. People started asking questions, not attacking, just questioning. Some noticed how Mia never showed full conversations. Others realized this wasn't the first time she'd posted about an ex the same way. Within a day, the comments were turned off. Within 2 days, the post was deleted. Mia didn't message me again. Not to argue, not to apologize, nothing. A week later, I heard through mutual friends that she'd fallen out with her best friend, the same one she'd been texting that night outside the barber shop. Apparently, even that friendship cracked once the drama stopped being entertaining and started becoming a pattern. That was her karma. Not public humiliation, not revenge. Just people slowly seeing the truth and stepping back. Lucas and I never became friends, but we exchanged a few messages. There was a quiet understanding there. No bonding over anger, just relief that we weren't imagining things. Looking back, I'm glad I left when I did. Because the moment I chose myself, everything she tried to use against me stopped working, and everything she tried to build on manipulation collapsed on its own. I didn't win anything dramatic. I just walked away intact. I thought the story with Mia had finally ended, that the silence would last forever. I was wrong. Life has a funny way of catching up to people who think they can control everything. A few weeks later, I heard through a mutual friend, someone who still worked at the company Mia was at, that she got fired. At first, I didn't even want to believe it, but the details were clear. The post about me, the Facebook drama, the screenshots, the way she tried to turn people against me, it had gone viral inside her workplace. People shared it. People talked. It became a trending topic in her office, and apparently HR didn't take it lightly. Then came the kicker. It wasn't just me. Someone leaked that she had a similar pattern with a coworker she'd dated before. Same story. He did the driving, the paying, the being useful stuff, while she manipulated and controlled. And when it ended, she spun him online as the villain. Her bosses found out. The complaints piled up quietly but steadily. By the end of the month, HR called her in, and she was gone. Terminated. The strange thing was, no one I knew gloated, nobody celebrated. But the news spread fast, and it felt like karma doing its work quietly, methodically, without any theatrics. I didn't feel joy. I felt vindicated, relief, closure. Not because I wanted her to lose her job, but because the universe had a way of balancing the scales that didn't require my interference. And in the background, Lucas, remember him, the guy who had experienced the same pattern, sent me a message. Guess some people just can't change until the consequences hit them. I smiled at that. Mia never contacted me again. No social media drama. No mutual friends warning me. She simply disappeared from my world, and the world that mattered to me seemed lighter for it. Sometimes karma isn't loud. Sometimes it's just life catching up to you quietly, leaving you to reflect on your choices while the rest of the world moves on. And for the first time in months, I felt completely free. Months later, the last pieces of Mia's story started to fall into place, and this time it was completely public. It began with a post from her former co-worker, the one she'd manipulated the same way she did with me. He shared his side of the story, the unpaid lunches, the rides she demanded, the messages she sent trying to control him. He didn't name her directly at first, but anyone following the drama knew exactly who he meant. Screenshots, timelines, even receipts. The post went viral within the company and quickly spread online. Then the screenshots of Mia's previous posts about me, her trying to paint me as the villain, started resurfacing, this time compiled by someone who had followed the situation from the beginning. People began connecting the dots. The pattern was obvious. She hadn't changed, and now the world could see it. She tried to defend herself, posting vague apologies on her social media, claiming she'd been misunderstood. But the problem was, there was too much evidence, too many people who had experienced the same manipulation. Her words fell flat, and instead of sympathy, she got scrutiny, judgment, and ridicule. And within a week, her online reputation was in shambles. Articles and posts circulated about the story. The girlfriend who turned dating into a job for her boyfriends. Exposed, the pattern of manipulation behind viral Facebook drama. Her former coworkers, friends, even casual acquaintances who had known her privately began sharing their own experiences. It was quiet, relentless karma, no dramatic confrontation, no grand public spectacle. Just the truth surfacing piece by piece until it became undeniable. And somewhere in the background, Lucas and I followed along. Not out of spite, just quiet observation. We didn't celebrate, we didn't gloat, but we acknowledged it. The pattern had caught up with her, and her carefully constructed image of control was gone. For me, it was the final closure I hadn't realized I needed. The woman who had caused so much stress, who had tried to manipulate and humiliate, now had no platform to continue, no audience to sway, no one left to gaslight. I never reached out. She never reached out. And in that silence, the lesson was clear. Actions have consequences, and the truth has a way of coming out, even when people think they're untouchable. I closed my laptop that night and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Year passed, and life slowly returned to normal. I focused on work, friends, and small things I had neglected while caught up in the chaos. No deliveries, no posts, no calls, just quiet. As for Mia, I don't know exactly what she's doing now. Her social media is gone, the posts deleted, and most of the mutual friends stopped following her. Karma quietly ran its course. She lost her job, her credibility, and the small audience she thought she could control. And me? I realized something important. I didn't need public validation or revenge. I needed my own peace, my own life. Walking away, setting boundaries, and refusing to be manipulated. That was the real victory. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't proving them wrong, it's letting them fall on their own while you move forward. And that's exactly what I did. I don't hate her, I just don't care anymore. And that feels better than any post, any argument, any social media battle ever could. The end. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe and like if you like these videos.